Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where here we are at the water's edge, and it is wonderful. Let's go ahead and close this. As you can see, I've already transmitted data from the Western Sea here. However, I drove past the shores and the lowlands because I was not really paying attention and didn't notice that I had gone past them. But we'll have to go back and grab that science. We would have had to do that to some degree anyway, but I'm not planning for this full episode to be rover driving. However, I did already off-camera test this, and I discovered just hopping into the water here does count as a splashdown. So we're just going to slowly roll our way over here. Brakes are on, and I don't want to hit this water at any sort of speed. Okay. Technically, even just that counts as a splashdown. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So that's a lot of cash. And this is counting as the Western Sea here, so we're just going to roll our way back. I did also test going into the water and floating and spinning the wheels. It does move very slowly when you do that, so we would have been able to make our way to shore as well. Fantastic. But we are, of course, going to make our way back over this way. It's about 30 kilometers in total. We're not going to do the whole trip in this episode. Most of it's going to happen in between episodes. All we're going to do here is we're going to go up and we're going to get, here's shallows right here. We're going to grab our shallows information and we're going to transmit this on back. And we're going to unstow our atmospheric pressure gauge. There we go. And we'll transmit that. And we'll grab our seismic scan and transmit that. As well as our gravity scan and transmit that. We're going to run out of power here fairly soon, but that's okay. And our atmospheric analysis and transmit that. This will run us out of power, and so we will sit here on 5x speed. How fast is that going? Not very. We're going to go to 10x speed. Okay, we're about 40% done. We're going to go to 50x. Okay, we're done. Fantastic. So there's all that. Next, we're going to head up until we hit lowlands, which should be pretty quick here. So up we go, and I mean, we're not in a rush to get back to our lander there. Yeah, it's only 30 kilometers away. It did end up taking about an extra half hour to get here. We were about halfway. So that wasn't too bad, all things considered, but I don't want to have 2 episodes in a row that's just driving a rover over the surface, so we are not going to be doing that. We're just going until we hit the lowlands, which should be quite soon here. Excellent. I think once we get up just a little bit higher, we'll head up into lowlands. And yeah, going uphill is a little slow, for sure. But yeah, we make pretty good time, all things considered. This isn't too bad. I was definitely afraid that I would have to spend like 8 hours driving when I was planning this mission because I would, you know, kind of miss, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. All things considered, it was reasonably okay. So we should be hitting lowlands here pretty soon. We're getting quite a lot of altitude here. If we check our sea level altitude, you can see we're currently about 68 meters above sea level. Make that 70, and it's just going up at about 1 meter per second. So that's wonderful. Actually, technically, it's going up at 0.8 meters per second. And that's okay. We should be hitting the lowlands very, very soon here. We'll crest this hill and see what that does for us. Fingers crossed that it does something. I mean, we could bump up to 2x time acceleration. If we're not there by the time we crest this hill, then I think I will, but we should be there very, very shortly. It's not very far to the lowlands, and we already got the data from the midlands. It doesn't matter which data we bring back, we just want to bring back some data. Now, technically, we could bring back all of the data. It would be a lengthy procedure, and I think overall, it would be wildly overkill. I don't think we need that much science. I think it's pretty likely that our science gets maxed out from just what we're doing here. Okay, so I'm going to go up to 2x time acceleration here. I really don't like doing it because it does this nonsense and can frequently break things. That said, if it breaks due to time acceleration, I'm okay with just fixing it through the cheat menu. There aren't things here that are broken that actually matter otherwise, so that's fine. Yeah, we're still in shallows, which surprises me. Okay, let's go back off of time acceleration here. We can actually accelerate faster outside of time acceleration. I did not expect this to still be shallows. But, okay. Here we are in the shallows. Like I said, I wasn't really paying attention. I was watching YouTube videos while I was driving. And just occasionally popping in and checking. So, it wasn't that exciting, in all honesty. We mostly just did this. But we should be there pretty quickly. Surely this is lowlands up here, right? This sure doesn't look like shallows. And it was mostly downhill the other way, too. This way's mostly uphill, which is exciting, to be sure. But, I mean, we're cruising along at 10 meters per second. That's not a bad uphill speed, all things considered. So after we get our lowlands, then I'm going to do the rest of this drive off camera. We will hop over to Gilly and see how that mining operation is going. Oh, I don't think I made sure that I didn't fill that after I did the save game edit last episode, but we'll double check that, and we'll see what's going on over there. There's definitely going to need to be some time warping that happens there if I didn't accidentally fill it, which I shouldn't have. And if I did, maybe I'll empty it. Because there definitely should be some time warping that happens there for that to fill. And it would be less time than it would take to fill up our Ascent module, actually. I'm a little shocked that this is still shallows. If I'm completely honest here. That said, it is giving us some time to build up our electric charge, which isn't the worst thing. We're going to have more data transmissions coming back. So, up the hill we go. At about 7.5 meters per second. Any moment now, we should pop into lowlands. I wish that there was some sort of a mouse over mod where you could like mouse over a piece of like a pixel on the ground and it would just tell you what biome that pixel is in, not what pixel your craft is in, but what pixel, say, right here is in, or what biome right here is in. That would be a nice little feature. It's not necessary, strictly speaking, but for planning purposes it would be nice. Surely this is going to be lowlands soon. It goes like Western Sea, and then when we were in orbit, it was just like shallows, lowlands, midlands, highlands. Almost that fast. So it's a very, very narrow strip of land here. But I guess moving at 3,000 kilometers, or rather 3,000 meters per second, is slightly different than moving at 7 meters per second. So fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't expect it to be quite this long. But surely this up here is lowlands, right? It's gotta be. I'm pretty sure once we crest this hill, right here, it'll be lowlands. I'm fairly certain of this. And we're moving at a reasonable clip, about 10 meters per second. Like I said, this drive is going to happen off camera here. Excellent. You know the interesting thing, I don't think that's actually interesting. It's interesting to me. I'm not sure it's interesting to you guys, but I was going to go into the refresh rate difference between the recording and my monitor, and the fact that OBS puts in this cursor that you're seeing in software mode, but I don't know how interesting that actually is. Okay, we're going to accelerate pretty good here. This is still shallows. Maybe it's this top up here that's lowlands. At any rate, we've been driving for longer than I hoped to for this episode already. Maybe we should just... Oh, hello. Here's lowlands right here. That's perfect timing. Okay, so we're going to brake. We're going to grab our lowlands data and transmit. Excellent. Transmit this. We're going to transmit our seismic scan. We're going to transmit our gravity scan. This will run us out of power, I believe. Yes. We're going to time warp. Okay, it's 50% done. 100% done. Okay, and then we're going to transmit our atmospheric analysis. 25% done with that. And 100% done. Fantastic. So I'm going to drive this back, and we're going to grab this data in the next episode and put that in our Ascent module. For now, I want to hop out here, and we are just going to see what's going on Gilly. Now, it looks like it's currently nighttime there. Let's go ahead and take a look. We're probably out of electric charge, if I had to bet. Actually, no, we're not out of electric charge. That's great. Are we running here? Yes, we are indeed running. Our thermal efficiency is awful. And you can see here, yeah, we're a long ways from full. We're a very, very long ways from full. So let's go to 10x here, 50x, 100x. And I mean, a big part of this is our thermal issue, right? Like, we can see here there's some overheat going on. I'm actually going to stop our convertatron for the moment, and we're just going to let our ore fill up, and we may actually have to have some sort of a system where we mine to fill up our ore, and then we process the ore, just because our heat is struggling. We can't run both at the same time because of heat output. And we're also going to want to definitely transfer this fuel, but that's something we can look at a little bit later on. So you can see here, this definitely is not the speediest process of filling this ore. Okay. Well, we can start our ISRU, and we can head back to the Space Center and take a look at what we've got going on currently in terms of things like science and cash and things like that. I mean, we're going to get a whole lot more of both of those. But I'd like to check our current situation with the Explorer Eve. Spacewalk in orbit, rendezvous 2 vessels, and return to Kerbal from a flyby of Eve. We're basically going to do that. That is basically the plan. We're going to accept that contract. Fantastic. We do need to work on attaching a new part to satellite in orbit of Minmus. That will need to be a Stratus 5 cylindrified monoprop tank. Okay, that's something we could do. 400 units of ore from Minmus. I do want to check in on our Minmus situation. We do want to move an engineer from Minmus, and the question is, how are we going to do that? We could simply refuel there. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go to the fuel hauler relay here. And let's see what we've got going on here. This should, I believe, be mining and processing. Or did I not hook this up? I may not have hooked this up. This is in 4K, for one thing, and we're going to go ahead and switch that right on back. Fantastic. And yeah, we did not attach this. Okay. What are we currently focusing on? This? I think we're currently focusing on that relay antenna. So yeah, that's what we were doing indeed. That's the mini builder, the pad builder, that's the fuel hauler, this is the mining outpost. Okay, so we can see here that we are full on ore, and we are, yeah, we're needing some work here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to just hook this on up. So first things first, we're going to set this target angle to be much different. We are going to want fuel in this, of course. Okay, so we'll just bring that in, I don't know, something along the lines of this. We will open up this hinge to be somewhere around, this is actually easier if I'm looking down, somewhere around here, I think. Excellent. This will need to be extended out slightly. We're going to want to set this as our target, and we're going to want to control from here. Excellent. So we're going to want to extend this on out a wee bit. We're going to want to rotate this to be possibly like so. I'll have to think about that in a moment. But for right now, we definitely need to get some altitude. So we'll do something like this. Push this up a little bit. Where are we at? Okay, we need a little bit more angle here, for sure. That's too much angle. That is too much angle. Let's bring that on back. Okay, we're going to need some additional altitude, of course. Which I think means ultimately we want to work with this hinge. Ooh, that's very close right there. Let's let this settle a bit. And figure out... That's maybe slightly high. But we can use this hinge to tweak it a bit. Flatten out this hinge, because this appears to be approximately the correct angle. We'll tweak that in a moment. We'll extend this out a little bit. This traverse rate is too high. Okay, so that's some docking forces there, for sure. We're going to need to rotate this. And we're actually going to need to rotate it to be more like... this. We're going to have to rotate this as well, I think, which is going to be potentially problematic. Oh, wait. We have a hinge up here, don't we? Well, this is just the extender, actually. What we need is we need to get this rotated in this way a little bit, which I think means that what we need is this angle to increase by a couple of degrees. There we go. And then we're going to need to flatten this. And so to do that, we're going to... Whoa. This traverse rate is real high. We're going to set our target angle to be more like over... Well, that's not going to work, is it? That is not going to work at all. We're going to set this to be a target angle of 0. There we go. And we're going to do it this way. This will be easier. Bring that target extension back. This one on over. This one will need to reduce its extension as well. Okay. Have this be maybe a 45-degree angle. How close does that get us? Pretty close, actually. We'll reduce this angle a bit. We don't need this much height. Somewhere perhaps... here-ish. Man, we've got some wild rock going on here. We'll have to wait for that to drop down a little bit. And I think it's pretty safe to say we're going to need a little bit more height here. And then have this go to, say... What if we had these at like 90-degree angles to each other? So it would be like this, and then this one would be at a 90-degree angle as well. Like that. This would then go to full extension, or close to it. We have too much height here, don't we? Yeah, we absolutely do. So 90-degree angles aren't going to work. We're going to have to back this off to perhaps a 70-degree angle-ish. Rotate this guy to be... Actually, to be like this. Like 18 degrees. Move this back ever so slightly on its extension. and raise this angle up. That's awkward. That traverse rate is too high, for sure. Like that. But the angle here is actually intended to get the correct angle going this way, is what we're looking for. Is the correct angle over here. So we're going to need this to be more along the lines of this. Which, of course, means that we need to change this angle, I think. Or perhaps just this one. No, I hate that one. If we change this angle... That's moving exceptionally slowly. Yeah, so that's not exactly what we want. We want it to come out over this way. That's the minimum. Okay. This is going to be awkward, isn't it? It's going to be real awkward. Okay. Well, we can work with this. We can change our angle here to change our, whoa, overall height. This traverse rate is way too high. Then we can bring this back and extend this forward, like so. Extend this forward as well. Whoa, that's too much. That is too much forward. This traverse rate is too high as well. Okay, we'll do something kind of like that. And then we are going to look to set this angle to be the correct angle here. It'll need to come in more like this. Like that. And then we can rotate this about like so-ish. That's going too far. That is going too far. Can we not go that far, please? Thank you. Over here, please? No. Over here, please? Okay, something around... Man. Something around here-ish. This was definitely not anticipated to take quite this long. I know that this is a fiddly process, but that's ridiculous. The fact that it's so wiggly is why it's fiddly, of course. Okay. Let's just bring this on up. And we're going to see if we can do something kind of like this. We want our current angle to be, looks like, around 100 or maybe 90 degrees. Around 90-ish degrees. Okay, let's extend... Actually, we can't extend that. Let's extend this a little bit and move the whole structure inward. Okay, we're going to need to continue to come in. We're going to need to lose a little bit of height here. That's something we can do by doing this. And we're going to need to lose a little bit of length, which is fine. We can definitely do that. About like so. And extend it in. Okay. There's some docking forces there. We are going to need to move it this way a little bit, I feel like. And it needs to be moved vertically a tiny, tiny amount. Not that way. The other way. Okay. It's mostly just the angle right now. But we need to, of course, switch over to here. Or actually, to here. We need to set this as our target. Which it already is, it looks like. But we'll do that, and we will control from here. Okay. And now we will just try to extend this a little more. Lower our altitude slightly, I think. Try to change this angle just a tick here. Bring this in, like so. That's very close. Very, very close indeed. But we need to come this way, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. Whoa, we're flying. We're flying. We're flying. We don't like flying right now. We really, really don't like flying right now. But I think we're okay. Yes. I think we're okay. So there we go, and our ISRU should be running, and indeed it is, and we should be refueling this over here, which does have most of its fuel there right now. But what we mostly want to do is we want to be getting our units of fresh ore from Minmus. That is our current primary goal, and that is indeed exactly what we're doing. At any rate, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode should be a little bit less fiddly. We will have the rover back with the science that we need, and we will begin our ascent from Eve. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.